Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Okay, we have the minutes of the February the 2nd, 2026 HLPC meeting.
I move we accept the minutes as
We have a motion to accept. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I'm just curious why we're looking at the February 2nd, February 2nd minutes. Did we not approve them previously? Okay.
We did not approve them last time because I had approved the January minutes and then it attached the February minutes, so the agenda item was wrong. And I didn't catch it till after the posting deadline, so we denied that one last time and have both of them on this agenda.
I should have remembered you weren't here and told you that.
Yep. Thank you.
I assume since I knew everybody, that's usually the case. If I know, everybody knows. Otherwise, okay, be no discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Jessica?
You have one more for minutes for April.
Okay. Okay, consider the minutes of the April meeting.
Okay, I'll move that we accept them as written.
We have a motion to accept. Have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Approved unanimously.
So your one item today on regular agenda is discuss and consider COA for 322 East Main Street. This is COA 2026-007. The owner is Bill Elliott and applicant is Mr. Randy Johnson. And this is for 322 East Main. This building is a 1906 to 1910 two-story rectangular masonry structure, has a flat roof. In the 1986 survey, it's listed as plate glass windows, a metal awning, and a stuccoed second level. And also in the 1986 survey mentions that this property has been substantially altered from its original state. I do have a few pictures I'll show y'all in a minute to kind of show you what it looked like then as opposed to what it looks like now. The 1986 survey did list this building as contributing, but then in the 2007 National Register nomination lists the building as not contributing due to the alterations that were made. The second floor metal railing has been in place, we think, since the mid to late 80s. There's also not a definite date on that. When looking back at the 86 survey, it says a metal awning, which to me doesn't necessarily mean the metal railing because awnings are different things, so there's no definite date on that railing. It could be the late 80s or even the early 90s when it was constructed and added to it. What the applicant is requesting to do is adding 6 exterior lights, which there's also a photo we'll go over, 6 new sections of wording, letters across that front facade, 1 7-foot by 18-foot sign, and then approximately 4-foot slip cover that would go over the existing metal railing. It would be a slip cover that goes over it, could be removed later on, and would be covered with EIFS, which is essentially kind of a synthetic stucco. You can see examples of that throughout downtown, especially in these 2 blocks of East Main, like on Dolly's Diner, the Columbia Center, House of Traditions, and Fortney's all have some similar stucco, plaster, EIFS combination on there. And they're also wanting to repaint the exterior with a dark gray and white color scheme to match the photo. So this is not the most current picture of Greer's. It has been painted since this time, but it was the best one I could find without a bunch of cars in front. So you can see the existing front facade. This is my very rudimentary drawing of what they are asking to do. It's essentially putting a slip cover over that second floor railing, which has become somewhat unbalanced and really isn't up to code right now. It's kind of deteriorating. Also adding 6 lights, a large sign in the middle, and then there will be some wording underneath where the railing is now. And then an all-new paint system. This is the design that was submitted by the applicant. So you can see the sign, the slip cover, the lights that will be attached, and then the additional wording. And also I do have one old photo that I was able to find. This is from approximately the 50s or so, and you can see the first 2 bays of this building at 322 East Main. Over to the left is an additional set of windows that is cut off in the photo. So this from approximately the 50s, according to the person that shared this with us. And so you can see there originally was not a railing of any sort right there. So this building has been substantially altered from what it originally looked like. Staff find that ordinance criteria B, D, E, F, G, J, and K all relate to this. Doesn't mean it does not meet these things or does meet these things. It just means these are the items you should take into consideration from our ordinance when making your decision today. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and also the applicant and a few representatives are here if you have any questions of them. And I'll go back to the rendering.
Any questions of Jessica?
I have a question about the railing. If it's become unstable and they're just covering it, it's still going to remain unstable, correct?
I believe, and Mayor may want to speak to this, there will be some shoring up done of that, and then the slip cover intention is to cover up that railing without removing it. So the idea would be to leave it so that way they can put a slip cover, so that way if this building changes hands in 10 years, that slip cover could then be removed, the railing could be fully restored, and it would go back to looking how it used to from the 80s or 90s. But I don't know if y'all want to add anything else to that. I'll scoot to the side.
I'm Randy Johnson. This is the property that my company is interested in putting a business in. I have a couple of people here with me. George Hooker, most of you may know George. He's done a lot of film in this area. He will be our manager and designer in this store. And Mr. Oliver Tucker from Carthage will do most of the work, if not all the work in the building. I'll let Oliver answer the question about the slipcover. Pardon me? Let me just, you can just ask him, okay? Because I'm not an engineer either.
Yes, I'm Arnold Tucker from Carthage. What the plans are is to build a 2x6 front on it. It'll have plywood on it, and then it'll have the drive-it on the front, or the ephes on the front of it. It will be in front of the railing. The railing will still be there. That way it'll be shored up, and at any time it could be the 2x6 wall, pony wall, as we call it, could be taken off, and it would look the same as what it does now.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm just gonna point to you.
Okay.
If you don't mind. This is the current,
Yes, sir.
will the slip cover this part
Yes.
as well?
It'll go from the bottom all the way up to the top of.
So the illusion will be that this is a solid stucco.
Correct.
Will you use it? Can you go out? What happened to this door here? Will that be removed? Will you use that as a, right here? There's a door there.
I can address that if you'd like. So, we'll just hand it off one at a time. Don't go far. So, it's a bit of a
This
misunderstanding.
is the one, you see the door?
Certainly. So, what we want to think of is, think of the balcony. You've got the door. Our front is an apron just over the front of the balcony. So, if you see in your image here,
Yes.
this remains, and we're just going to come over this.
And it'll come all the way down to the bottom here.
Yes, so that what we do is we give the impression that the
Yes,
building.
it's stucco,
This
yeah.
is, we're both correct on. Where you may be a bit confused is that door is, here's the front, the door's back here, and an entire balcony that people continue to watch all of our parades and come out that
That's
door.
what I'm asking.
Yes, sir. The door remains.
That's
You
all
still,
I'm asking.
you still utilize them out balconies.
Absolutely. We just didn't want you to think we were doing anything to the face of the building.
Well,
We're
that's
only,
just my-
we're only
my
doing the
question.
face of the balcony.
Okay.
The picture makes it a little misleading. That's a very, that
No,
color.
the picture's fine. This one, this is the one that's crazy.
I think some
Yeah,
of that's
it
a
can-
little
it-
warping
yeah, it's a
from
little bit
our
warped.
stuff.
This gives you a better look at it if
Yes,
you want to
that's
think.
better.
Yes, sir. The way that the windows are lined there, I just repeated it on the other side. The door stays, and so does the actual balcony that you can have access. So
So-
instead of looking over a railing, you're just looking over a solid if you're
Sure.
standing up there.
Okay, and this is 7 feet from here to here.
It's about it's almost 8. It's about 7 3/4.
And it looks like the new,
If you count
all
railing.
of this will come up to the same level as the top of that sign.
It will, and the sign itself will stop at that top or slightly under it.
Okay.
Because he's going to put a metal
Now, so this will hide some of these windows from the bottom, right?
No.
Well, I mean, not physically hide.
Through the railings, yes,
You
sir.
won't be able to
It-
see it as you do now.
You'd have to step back a bit further, yes, sir.
Okay.
But those windows are so tall, we feel pretty confident that it doesn't lose any of its.
You have an example of these lights to show us?
We have not purchased them yet, so it's probably going to be an Elliott Electric product that will determine, but they're going to be what was considered, for me, we call them similar to the 1950s and sort of a 50s and 60s style of a shop light that's outside of old gas stations. We want to keep the look as best we can to what and we're open to, certainly we need the approval on it.
I have one last question.
Sure.
This is quite a bit of now of faux stucco, as we call it, from here to here. It's pretty heavy as far as visually. Would this be appropriate of, these wrought iron airy supporting it? Will that look kind of, you see my point?
I do. I don't think so, and my reasoning is that those are also echoed above them, even though we blacked out above the windows. Those are still there too, and they're going to go
Right here?
Yes,
Yeah.
and those are still there, and I think that echoing those, I think that airiness is both up there and below it. And honestly, I still think that keeping with our historic downtown, as a designer, I like them. I don't think that it gives a look of weakness or an airiness that's not appropriate.
I feel that way about the ones you're covering.
Okay,
Okay.
fair enough. That's why we're here today.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We've been having a lot of work done downtown and installing railings and things like that
Mhm.
on the balconies. And so we've got one here, but it's gonna be covered up. If you're gonna shore it up to make it so that it can stay and you can still use the balcony, could you just leave the railing and let it be exposed instead of putting the slip cover over it?
Based on our assessment, if we don't shore that up with what we're going to do with a pretty substantial shoring that you don't need to see from the street level, it's going to need to be replaced, most likely. Those railings don't really have, honestly, right now, no one should lean on that railing. They're going over. I was spooked to even just get up there, honestly, as far as the way they are now. And they're only in with just slight little lag bolts. And I cannot speak to the veracity of the railing's strength, if they're brittle at all, if that metal is going to hold against any one city dignitaries up there for a parade and off they go. I'm not thrilled about the railing as is, not from a design standpoint. If this came down to would we be fine with doing our color and our solid piece right over what's there now, if you want to switch back to the Greers, we could go back and talk about that really quickly. We can do ours across there. Our sign would then have to adjust for size, or we could go over the railing there and that just that centerpiece, if that could be approved. If it came down to the railing staying, we would have to, again, most likely look at replacing that railing all the way around.
I'm not sure it meets code height-wise.
What?
I think it's a little short under the new code. But that's something you might check out.
If you look, we're trying to help this situation and not harm it. If you look at the building as you face Greer's to the left, you can't see it in this picture, but all you have to do, or some kid has to do, is take those stairs from the side of the old Godtail building, and most of these rails right here are knocked out of this railing. So
And that's wood.
it's already a
damaged.
hazard. So what we're trying to do is make this better than what it is right now, as far as safety is concerned. Now, the tree's gone. If you drive by and look at the Gottel building, you'll see on that west corner, there's about probably 6 or 8 of those rails that are missing there.
Pickets.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All you gotta do is take the stairs to get up there, so
Well,
the kid could get
it's
up
not
there.
habitable, it's not, no one's in it right now, is there?
No, but the stairs aren't blocked. I mean, you could go, I could go down there right now and get on the stairs and walk up there.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Jessica, you alluded to the railing not necessarily being up to code. I don't know if you
So
have
the
any hard.
motivation here is safety?
It has been, and we looked at how do we solve that problem when we were up there. So I got out on the balcony to measure and stepped up to that, and I thought, well, regardless of anything, these rails, I'm not leaning on them, and you can just see there's a lot of damage to that all the way around it. So when we looked at the front, we thought, what do we do to put a sign that we believe is advantageous to us, but also looks something that the city would be proud of? It needs to be bigger than the little Greer's one that's there. So that's why we also went with it needs a foundation behind it. And if we do this, that becomes solid to the top of the railing. And behind that, we were going to go off, and Arnold, you can correct me if I'm wrong about this, you were going to do 45s down and then go all the way through and not just lag them. They were going to bolt all the way through that so that anybody can lean on them. You have 20 people up there leaning against it, nobody's going over. If, again, that's not up to code as is, I think that's a different conversation that we're not personally, I think, in, but we can be if we need to. But for me, yeah, we looked at stability and safety first, and my design came directly out of making this thing look better than it does. It wasn't just because we wanted to be different, and we felt like that was a way, because you've got such a substantial with your pieces coming down already, that we thought across the front we do the same thing.
And can I mention one thing? I know Chris had a question about code. My comment about code, I do not know if this is currently up to the code standards. Once construction starts, of course, everything would have to be up to our current building codes. It is a possibility if HLPC said we want to keep the railing, and if it has to be completely redone, the railing may now have to be 5 feet tall. I don't know the current building codes, but anything that would be added to it, whether it's a slip cover or an entirely new railing up to a higher height, would have to meet those building codes. So there's a possibility that, we could just do the pony wall with the bracing, make it a little bit taller, but with better bracing that would meet our building codes versus doing possibly a much larger metal railing on its own. So that's something that no matter what is approved by HLPC, because remember, as HLPC, we approve the look, the design, and then it goes forth to those building codes, and it may be like, yes, we still like the design, but it needs to be 1 foot taller, or have certain braces on the back, or a few other things that have to be met for life safety reasons.
One last thing, so I just want to make sure we know what we're doing here. Basically, we have a false stucco from the top of the current railing,
Yes.
7 total feet to the bottom.
Yes.
Okay. It's gonna look pretty massive, sitting on top of these things. I'm just talking to you about, but that's just as long as I know what you're proposing.
Yeah, what breaks up that look is the fixtures and the striping separation piece that we echo what's up top. If you see that it's fluted across with the sort of a copper color now, call it it actually matches more of the brick color on the ground right now. We're going to go to a white for those, kind of a lighter gray, almost
Line
white.
going through it.
So
Okay.
now you have a line go through to
I
break
see.
it. You have your 6 lights, and we believe that's fairly attractive to do it that way. And again, I didn't want it to look monolithic or German of that old sort of.
Don't say
Not
bad things about you.
no, it's a wonderful thing. But my home, that they came in and wanted to give it that look, and it looked very much like a prison when they were done. And
Okay.
so
Is it going to go around the ends? Because
it will.
the railing now goes like
It will.
this,
It'll
and like
turn the
this.
sides, and
It'll
it'll
turn the
go.
sides.
There's 9 feet on the sides,
Okay.
and then there's the 50 something that go across the front. Or rather, I'm sorry, it's 80, I believe. We've got the correct length on it, but it's 9 feet on the 2 sides. It'll go back until it runs into, so you don't see it anymore from The railing will be completely covered all the way if it gets approved.
Now, you're not gonna be able to see the railing from behind it either, are you?
You will be able to see it from behind it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's not gonna look good in there, but we don't see it.
Well, it's not open to the public. That's again for special. That's Bill Elliott's gig. If he wants to pack everybody from Elliott Electric up there, that's his deal. It's his building.
We don't see it.
That's kind of what we felt too. So
So I know that we typically don't have much say when it comes to paint colors. But so this is, I think, what the kids call millennial gray. I think it is sort of falling out of fashion. And just to let you know, I'm sure you're aware of colors as a designer,
Mhm.
but
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
My only concern is with the new exterior lights. There's a little bit of uncertainty. I trust that you will choose a design as what you were describing to us, but like the intensity of the bulbs and like the warmth of them. Do you have any idea like what that will look like? Will it be
No, we do.
bright
We
light?
definitely want to keep them in a warm color. We want to probably go somewhere around 28 to 3400 for the light temperature for those, so that we again keep with the. And I'm not sure if they're bulb LED or whatever the street lamps are that go all the way down, but we want to try to match that as close as we can. I'm definitely not a fan of white light for. I think warm is always better.
We want to keep as many bugs circulating as we can.
Right.
And everything on the canopy is gonna remain the same.
Yes.
Is the cap on the top of that the same drive-it material?
The cap on top of the railing is actually going to be metal. Yeah. So we feel like it's better for weatherproofing.
You mean on top of this right here?
Yes. Yeah. So instead of the top of the rail being where it stops, it'll go just above it, and it'll have a cap piece that runs all the way down the length of it around both.
You won't see it, it'll be sheet metal and you'll never see it.
It's more about the material as opposed to a wood piece.
I only commented on this, I'm not necessarily gonna propose it, but it's difficult for us to approve lighting without seeing actually seeing the lighting.
Sure.
So can we approve something we don't know what it looks like?
So in the past, HLPC has approved designs and then asked the applicant to come back to give exact specifications of, we approved the
Sure.
concept of lights and we need to have the actual light brought back so we can review. We did something similar with Mr. Sloan's building when the balcony was approved in concept and then said, and please bring back the actual design when you're a little further along. So that is something HLPC can approve the design as is and ask for the actual lights that you purchased to be sent to me, so that way I can send it out to y'all so you know what will be put on
so
there.
it's like a partial approval. Like you can do everything, but we need to see the lights before you put the lights in.
It's an approval of concept,
Got
and then essentially the exact, if it's the light or a paint color example, can be brought back for final approval. So you can approve putting lights, but you need to see the exact fixture.
Would that work for you?
Absolutely.
That has been done multiple times in the past through HLPC.
Yes.
Okay.
We're agreeing that you'd do that then.
Absolutely. We agree to do that.
And that would just need to be something, if it is approved with a motion, it would need to be approval of the concept with a request that the exact light fixtures be brought back for final approval.
Any more questions? Anyone? You have any more comments?
No, sir. Just wanted to be available.
Randy, you have anything else?
No, sir, I'm good, thank you.
Good. Jessica?
That is all I have. I'm happy to answer any other questions if you have procedurally or about any other part of this project.
Jeff, do you have any more questions? Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the concept with approval of the lights at a later time.
We have a motion to accept the concept with approval of the lights at a later date. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, nay. Ayes have it.
That is all I have for you today.
I was wondering if we needed to get some kind of a character reference on the applicant.
We don't. But just to close out our meeting, our next meeting will be June
Keep the
1st.
tapes running.